And then there was one. The 34th and final stop on the Castrol GTX Cup Series for season 22 brings us to Homestead Miami Speedway in Homestead, Florida, as we are set to go for the final 41 laps of the season and the running of the Ford EcoBoost 400. And it's all down to it. Two-man race for the championship between car 24, Kyle Matthews, and car 29, Charles Sanford, as you saw the promo picture at the beginning of this whole show. Separated by 61 points coming in this race, and the mathematics is simple. I'll explain the scenarios as the pace lap happens. On the pole for today's event at 191 miles an hour, Johnny Gardner. In number 22, he's a two-time winner this season so far. Looking for number 3 today. He'll be alongside Benjamin Miles, who won Darlington this season in car 14. Row 2 has Zachary Fitzwater in 39 and Carter Friesen. Car 36, he starts in 4th position. Fitzwater always won twice this season. Friesen looking for that first victory of the season. Hey, Matt McIntyre this season, winning his first career race. We'll see if Carter can do the same. Row 3 has car 3, Cole Deaver. He has one of our in-car camera. He's won once this season. That came at Martinsville. He'll be alongside one of our in-car cameras, Kyle Matthews, in car 24, the Pepsi Chevrolet. He's the championship leader by 61 coming into this race. He's a 4-time winner this season so far. One of the two drivers that's done it, Charles Saber being the other. Row number 4, has Joshua Card, who won Sonoma this season, and Dylan and Chris Dollerton, who's won twice this season so far. Row 5 has our second in-car camera, Jessica Shelton, in the Valvoline Ford car 17. Should be alongside two-time winner Dylan Young. The next row down has Quentin Moore in car 89 and Nathan Hudson in 38. Next row down has Jesse Turner, twice a winner this season so far, to Castrol GTX Chevy car 27. And beside him, Joshua Osborne, car 33, the Jimmy John Chevy. Joshua a winner this season at the Brickyard 400. Next row down has two-time winner Matt McIntyre. He won the second North Wilkesboro race, and he also won the second Charlotte race this season in the Timberwolf Pontiac car 37. And Gene Sammer, who pulled out the tremendous win in the spring race at Talladega. She's in car 21. Next row down has number 99, Benny Watson in the Airstream Machine Toyota. And beside him will be Keith Batson in car 32, the White Rain Ford. Next row down has Levi McIntyre, winner this season at Richmond, the first Richmond race in the Aflac Ford, car 60, the Carl Edwards Special. And Sky Cummins in car 62. Next row down has Jay Jefferson in car 88, the Navy Chevrolet, who won this season at Auto Club. And Mike Becker in the Sprint PCS Chevy car 45. And our third in-car camera lies in our second championship contenders car, Charles Sanford. Starting way back in 29th in today's event in car 29, the Sonic Chevrolet. He's won twice this season. He's won 4 times this season so far, I should say. And he'll be alongside Eli Bright, last season's Rookie of the Year. Next row down has car number 18, Ashlyn Boyd, and number 34, Trey Wright. Next row down has car number 9, Kat Batson, and the Track Gear Ford. Beside her will be car number 8, Rob Evans. Next row down has number 00, Aiden Shepard, and number 4, William Brock, who won the 600 at Charlotte this season. Next row down has Simon Bloomfield, number 10. He's on the outside of the row. Inside of him, actually, will be Elijah Gordon in car number 66. Next row down has car number 5, Ryan Brommer, and number 74, James Henry. Next row down after that would be Ben Salmorego, who won the Pepsi 400 this season in car 44 at Daytona, and Henry Sanford in 57. Next row down has Mitchell Collins in car number 12, and number 7 will be the car of Zach Winkle. Next row down after that will be car number 87, Dion Moon, and number 63, Diego Yepes. And starting shotgun field will be Bobby Frazier in the Yellow Transportation Dodge, car number 1. So the mathematics is simple on this mile and a half. It's simple for the championship, though. But so the mathematics, so the scenarios so the scenarios we'll explain to you on the pace lap here. This track here at Homestead, much like we saw at Atlanta earlier this season, the mile and a half race track with 20 degrees of banking, except Atlanta's 24 and Homestead's 20 actually. So here we go. The command's about to be given.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
And for the final time, season 22, that command's been given. So this track is a mile and a half in length, shaped like what we saw earlier this season at when we went to the old Atlanta. is a mile and a half in length and 20 degrees of banking in the turns, and somebody is not starting on the. I would say here. Well, Charles Saver, at least thankfully, is one of those drivers who still is up and running. But anyway. So the scenario is quite simple. The points lead to 61 points for Kyle Matthews, and if Charles Saver leads the most laps and wins the race, Kyle will have to finish no better. Kyle will have to finish 12th or better to win the championship. And if Charles does lead and if Charles wins the race but does not lead the most laps, then Kyle can finish 14th or better to win the championship. So basically. That's the scenarios, by the way. If Kyle finishes behind Charles, like I said again, if Charles Saver wins the race and leads the most laps, Kyle Matthews will have to finish 12th or better to win the championship. So that's basically the rules here. That's basically how it all goes down. But of course, naturally. The other 39 drivers will be in quest for the win here today as the green flag flies for the final time of season 22 at Homestead. Here we go. 33 races are in the books, and it all comes down to this one very race. But Homestead can be the kiss of death for the championship. Remember, Matthews was one of those drivers who had the points lead going into the Homestead one time and lost it to Trent Dunham, but he did get redemption. When he gained the championship that Cole Deaver lost in the last race of the season, in season 20. Deaver did get redemption one season later, though, however, in season 21. As I'm saying all that, Cole Deaver does lead the first lap of the race here today. And this track is actually plenty racy, too. You'll see sometimes 3 wide racing. Matt McIntyre looking low in the track here. He's already entered the top 10 right now, so he come off turn number 4. He looks inside of Jesse Turner in 27. Joshua Collard up ahead, so it's Fitzwater, Collard is up there. Johnny Gardner, Quentin Moore, and Cole Deaver on his pack of cars right here. And also, you got Benjamin Miles in there, Dylan Young, and Kyle Matthews. And look at Charles Sanford already shooting for that top 10 spot. Charles knows he's on a mission to try to win this, to try to take that championship away. Matthews has led the points all season long ever since his win in the Daytona 500, way back in the very first race of the season, and he does not want to lose it around the last race of the year. Or Sanford, he would like to steal that championship away around the last race of the year. Obviously, no question about it. Another car on the move. That's the Jimmy John's car in the inside lane. There he is. That's Joshua Osborne. He gets by Levi McIntyre. Now gets by Benny Watson and Jesse Turner both. Benny Watson, by the way, the leading contender for Rookie of the Year this season, and of course, which looks to me like he will win it this season, obviously, because, I mean, he's got a huge point lead in the Rookie of the Year standings over Trey Wright. So Benny Watson, thanks to his win earlier this season in the second race on the tour at Rockingham, and maybe possibly can pull one off today at Homestead if he can. So this race is just 5 laps old and 36 laps are left to go. So Benny can still come back up to the field and maybe possibly win this race. That 99 car has been plenty strong. Has been plenty strong in a few races this season. He's had some flashes of brilliance, and if he comes back for season 23, you know he'll be a top contender in this series, or at least try to be at least. Benny, and he's got Nathan Hudson and Jessica Shelton both behind. Shelton won this race last season, but still finished second in the points to Deaver. And a good race season for Jess so far. Good season for Jess. Third in standings coming into this event and 3 wins on the season. And they have gone by Bobby Frazier in the 1 car. Frazier falling a lap down early, so the 1 car is not on the lead lap. And Charles Sanford's taken second place now. He's moved his way up from mid-pack starting spot up to second place. He wants those 5 bonus points for leading a lap, and he has got Johnny Gardner just up ahead of him. Gardner leads this race, and Gardner, by the way, won this race 2 seasons ago in season 20. So Johnny does have a win in Homestead. They didn't skunk him this season though. He scored 2 wins, winning the second race at Michigan and the Southern 500 at Darlington. So Johnny kind of salvaged this season with 2 wins in the season so far. He is in contention for the top 10 points, but he's going to need a miracle to finish top 10 in some ways. He is 74 out of the top 10 spot. He is 74 out of 10th and 15th place in the points. So Jay Jefferson just up ahead of him. And by the way, Jefferson is one of the drivers, I think, ahead of Gardner in the points. I'm not sure, to be honest. But Deaver looking outside for second place on the car of Charles Sanford. That's for second place. And Benjamin Miles right behind in third spot. Then Fitzwater come off to number 4. Collard's in there. Matthews following in behind. Bobby Frazier, the lap car in the field. On board Kyle Matthews' car from 7th position. Right there behind Joshua Collard in the 43 cars. They come off to number 4. Fitzwater and Collard just about close to each other come off that 4th corner. And there's a look from Charles Sanford's view. He's running 2nd position right now. He's ahead of Matthews, but Matthews is where he needs to be right now. He's in 7th place. And from inside Jessica Shelton's car, she's running alongside the 27 of Jesse Turner in the Casey Atwood colors. Jess floors the throttle and goes by Turner, and now she sets her sights on Dylan Young, and Jess, of course, has our Ford in-car camera in this event. Now from the roof cam of Jess's car, looking right in front of Dylan Young. Young up ahead in 10th, Shelton running in 11th. And up behind and back behind her is Benny Watson and the 1232 car of Keith Batson. Off the 4 turn to come, Matthews up the high side, losing positions now as Collard pulls alongside of him, and Matthews pulls back ahead. So that is 6th position right there. And meantime, Collard and Dollarton both going toe-to-toe with each other. Dylan Young gets past the 89 of Quentin Moore. That's for 9th. Dollarton to the low side. Matthews to the high side as they come off the 4th turn. And Dollarton falls in behind now. That's for 7th place. Or 6th place, excuse me. And meantime, Cole Deaver's still dropping spots now as he's getting passed by Zachary Fitzwater. Meantime, Charles Sanford lost a spot to Benjamin Miles for 2nd, and still well behind Johnny Gardner, who's now gotten past Jay Jefferson in the 88 car. Jefferson not having a good day. He's down in 40th position, but he did score a win this season. That came at Auto Club Speedway in California. He has 2 career wins in a series. He scored one last season at the Die Hard 500 at Talladega. So Jefferson cannot say he got skunked this season, though. He did get a win this season, and he hopes for more next season, by the way, for season 23. So not sure what car. Their plans are up in the air for which ride Jefferson will go to next season, if that were to happen. Benjamin Miles, well, same thing for him, obviously. And, of course, for Charles Sanford, not sure what ride he'll have next season as well. And here comes Matthews going by Fitzwater to the inside, and Deaver just about cut off Matthews in that 24 car. Off that fourth turn they come here, and now he and Charles and Joshua Collard now go battle with each other, and then Matthews now takes fourth. And he has got Samper in his sights right now in that 29 car. Meantime, Fitzwater and Deaver, they're going side by side with each other, as that's for the, I think that's for fifth, no, that's for sixth place actually. Deaver to the low side of Fitzwater, and he'll try to get back by Matthews now. And he'll get the draft off the 43 of Joshua Carr. Three of the most iconic numbers in the sport, the 3, 24, and 43 all going at it. And Samper now goes to the high side, Matthews and behind him. And meantime, focusing outside of that battle, by the way, as Fitzwater goes back to that battle right there. There comes Dylan Young and Chris Dalton to the low side of Dylan Young. He'll take that position away. And meantime, look who's entered the top 10 right now. That number 17, Jessica Shelton, up to 10th place as she's gotten by Quentin Moore. Shelton, as we said, won this race last season. So she knows how to get it done here at Homestead. She knows how to get it done almost anywhere on the tour, as a matter of fact, for that fact. But so far nobody's been able to catch Johnny Gardner, who leads the Ford EcoBoost 400 in a Dodge, for that fact. Gardner started from the pole. He's led every lap so far, as we actually are past halfway in this race here, actually. As 21 in the books and 20 are left to go in the season here, averaging so far 184 miles an hour. Fast lap race so far being turned in by Dylan Young at 189.5 miles per hour. So they are running slower than what they qualified at, which was over 191. So Cole Deaver's now gotten past Jay Jefferson for position, and Deaver now looks to get up to Johnny Gardner, and Deaver, as we said, he has a win this season that came in the second race at Martinsville. Not the season he hoped for as the defending series champion, though, but he is going to at least solidify a top 10 in the points, as he came in this race 6th place in the standings coming in. Talking about the man in the Oreo Chevrolet, he'll be back in the Goodwrench colors next season, driving the colors of his hero Dale Earnhardt. And of course, Deaver's other shining moment, of course, came at the All-Star race at Charlotte when he won that event. So Cole can't say he had a bad year, though. I mean, so he's been pretty good all year season long. Battle for 5th going on between Benjamin Miles and Chris Thornton. There's Collard back behind in 7th. There's 8th and 9th. Fitzwater and Dylan Young. And Young goes by Fitzwater. Meantime, Quentin Moore and Jessica Shelton drafting off each other right now as they're battling for 10th. And throw Nathan Hudson in that mix in a 38 car. And Hudson's car has been underratedly running pretty strong here. It's been qualifying consistently in the top 15 the last half of the season. So the Great Clips car, it's been doing pretty good, though. Hudson, I'm not sure where he's at in the points actually coming into this race, but his car's had some pretty good runs as the last half of the season goes along. $15 laps to go in the season here at Homestead Miami Speedway. And Johnny Gardner up to the high side now. Here comes Deaver to the low side, and Cole Deaver's going to take the lead from Johnny Gardner. So move that old number 3 out in front. But Gardner's going to try to get him back. You know Gardner ain't going to give up in that 22 car, but that's also going to let Charles Samper possibly back in this race here, as now Matthews is now trapped behind Dalton as Dylan Young goes to the low side. Young will take, I think that was for 5th, and now he'll try to take 4th from Chris Dalton, and he will. And keep your eye on that number 2 car. That 2 car looks pretty fast as well. He's now gets by Jefferson, and And here he comes. Here he comes with a beat on Charles Sanford now in that 29 car. So Dylan Young, twice a winner this season at New Hampshire and the second race at Richmond. Up to 4th place right now. Sanford up ahead, ran a slower lap than did Dylan Young. So if Dylan and Charles can get up there for the fight for those front 2 cars, it may be a 4-car battle for the win possibly. And we are coming up on now, this will be 12 laps to go. This will be the completion of lap number 29 in this race here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Riding with Charles Sanford in 3rd spot. He's trying to get a draft off the car of Johnny Gardner for 2nd place. Gardner has automatically led the most laps, so that will not. So Charles will not collect that bonus. And now from Kyle Matthews' point of view, he's got Dylan Young up ahead. Young trying to draft off of Sanford's cars. They come off as they try to catch the front 2 cars in this pack. And whoa, Young and Sanford got very close to getting into each other. And from Jessica Shelton's view, she's now lost a position to Quentin Moore up to 10th, and Shelton back to 11th. Shelton's still about 3 seconds back of the leader right now, and she backed way off as now Nathan Hudson goes by. That was for the 11th position as Shelton now slips to 12th. And I think Coleman has got a problem. Matthews has got a problem with his car. Matthews has fallen way back in the field. Oh dear, where's that going to put him now in the field? Now Matthews has not yet led a lap this race. He's now on the cusp of what he needs. He's in 12th place right now. And Charles Sanford, meanwhile, where is Sanford at the moment? I don't see him on the top 5 in this list. He's on pit road! Sanford's on pit road! Turned out he was the guy that had the problem and not Matthews. There's the rest of the field going by right there as Diego Yepes anchors the field. But, the 29 of Charles Sanford, who was running this race in 3rd spot, is sitting on pit road. The 4 car of William Brock had a header failure on his car. Oh, so Kyle Matthews, all he needs to do is he's in 13th right now, and Sanford is now 2 laps down in 38. So all Kyle's going to need to do, and now the yellow flag is going to fly here with 5 laps to go in this race. And it looks like it's the 21 car of Gene Sanford that's going to head down pit road. Oh, and Matt McIntyre. Matt McIntyre in the 37 car, who was trying to go for the top 10 in the standings. He looks like he's going to be on not going to be in contention to do anything, and they're going to try to fix Gene Sanford's car. As she heads down pit road, 55 miles an hour. Well, I was going to say, all Kyle Matthews needs to do is to try to make it to the white flag, and he's got the championship. And it appeared the whole thing happened. It appeared the whole thing happened in turn number 1 between McIntyre, between both the McIntyres, Matt and Levi. Levi gets a good run on Matt McIntyre. Matt has something go wrong with his car, and Levi just flat bumps him. Takes them both out of the race, along with an innocent Gene Sanford. Oh, and look at that. Oh, how all those cars missed Matt McIntyre and Gene Sanford, I will never know, but and there you see right there. Yeah, it looks to me like Matt's car had something go wrong with him. He was slowing way down dramatically, and Levi apparently just got too much of a run to try to stop, and then into the 37 he goes, and right there, as we said, took an innocent Gene Sanford out of this whole thing as well in the 21 car. So Levi McIntyre, who had a shot at trying to get into the top 10 in the points, and not sure that's going to happen for the 60 team. And Matt, unfortunately for him, is out of the race, and we'll see if anybody else is. Yeah, Charles Sanford's out of the race. Charles Sanford's out of the race with an ignition failure on the 29 Sonic Chevrolet. And it was a header failure on William Brock's car. So Sanford out of race, that's going to give the championship for season 22 to Kyle Matthews automatically. And it will be the second championship for Kyle Matthews, but he's still going to have to. But he still has shots of has a shot of has the mission of finishing this race, obviously, here at Homestead, but yet that whole thing caught me off guard on what happened. I thought Sanford was still up in the top 33rd spot, but I didn't know he also had a problem with his car. But and mind you, we spend so much time focusing on the championship contenders and everything, and you want everything to go the whole championship battle to go well as planned, and not have any of the contenders suffer problems at all, and regardless of who it is or how many points they're separate by, and what have you. But unfortunately, that's what happened for Charles Sanford. The championship battle, his hopes for a second championship, will have to wait till next season. When he hopes to be in the same position, and maybe even better than that, for season 23. So he does keep second place in the points, though, because he actually had a lot of distance on third place, which in fact was Jessica Shelton. So, and she right now sits in 11th at the moment. So we are going to get a one-lap shootout here for the win at Homestead Miami Speedway. It's Cole Deaver leading, looking for his second victory of the season. Johnny Gardner's looking for his third win of the season. Ditto for Dylan Young. He's also looking for number 3. Benjamin Miles looking for his second victory of the season. And Dalton also is looking for his third. He's in 5th. And Collard 6th. Fitzwater 7th. 8th is Quentin Moore. 9th is Nathan Hudson. And Benny Watson right now runs in 10th. The 88 car of Jay Jefferson is not on the lead lap. He is running in 38th position. So the final restart of the season and it's also the final white flag of the season too, as we'll get the restart on the final lap of the Ford EcoBoost 400. And no Ford to be found in sight, by the way, in the top 10, which is kind of sad for the Ford execs. But anyway, The field comes off to turn number 4. The green and white flags both wave, and we are back under. We are in here. Final lap of the 40 Boost 400. Will it be Cole Deaver or Johnny Gardner victory lane? We're about to find out here. Gardner looks low on the track on Deaver as they come off the second turn. Gardner's led the most laps in this race so far here. Deaver looking to cap it all off for his second victory of the season. Gardner peaks to the low side of the track as they come through 3 and 4 here. Gardner's got to run through 3 and 4. Here they come up the fourth corner. Gardner pulls ahead of Deaver as they come up the finish line. And it is Johnny Gardner winning the 40 Boost 400 by a half a car over Cole Deaver. Johnny Gardner pulls off his third victory of the season as he adds on to wins at Darlington and at Michigan. A brilliant run through 3 and 4 on the final lap, and that gave him the win. So Johnny Gardner wins the race, and Kyle Matthews will win the season 22 Castrol GTX Cup Series Championship. And apparently something had happened on the backstretch on the cooldown lap. Not sure what had happened, actually, to be honest. And apparently everybody tried to congratulate Kyle Matthews with a congratulatory bump, and I think that all failed. And I think somebody turned Jesse Turner first, actually, is what it looked like, but... And here, once again, is that pass for the win by Johnny Gardner. And as I said, he got a tremendous run through 3 and 4. Gardner peaked to the low side of the track here as they went through 3 and 4. Deaver's car pushed up high. That's the last thing he wanted in that case because Gardner then got a tremendous run off the 4th turn, slammed the throttle to the floorboard. And the Dodge would edge out the Chevrolet by, as we said, a half a car length to take the win right there. Here. And that was the margin of victory here in the 40 EcoBoost 400. Johnny Gardner is your race winner here today over Cole Deaver. Average speed 153.041. Margin of victory 028 at the start finish line. That was a close race. So all 34 races are in the books, and the championship was basically ended when Charles Sanford's car suffered the ignition failure. Matthews, well, if Sanford would have won the race and led the most laps, then Matthews would have finished outside of what he needed to win the championship there. But it wouldn't have mattered. But it doesn't matter anyway, as far as that whole thing's concerned. Finishing order for you here today: Johnny Gardner wins, Cole Deaver second, Dylan Young third, fourth Benjamin Miles, Joshua Collard comes home fifth, Chris Starleton sixth, Zachary Fitzwater comes home seventh, Benny Watson, your season 22 Rookie of the Year, is going to finish in 8th position. Quentin Moore comes home 9th, and Jessica Shelton will end up finishing in 10th. 11th position will go to Nathan Hudson, Joshua Osborne 12th, Jesse Turner 13th, and newly crowned champion Kyle Matthews comes home in 14th position. Carter Friesen 15th, Keith Batson 16th, and Eli Bright, Rob Evans, Trey Wright, and Sky Cummins the top 20 in today's event. Rest of the finishing order for you here: Kat Batson, Mike Becker, Levi McIntyre ends up finishing 23rd, Ashlyn Boyd, Dion Moon, James Henry, Zach Winkle, Henry Sanford, Ryan Brommer, Simon Bloomfield comes on in 30th, 31st, Elisha Gordon, 32nd, Aiden Shepard, Mitchell Collins, the only driver that will finish the race season without a top 10 finish, unfortunately, for that 12 team. And sucks for Mitchell, too, I will imagine, too, because, I mean, there was some races where he had shots at the top 10 finish without question. Ben Salmarego 34th and 35th will go to Diego Yepes, the last car to finish on the lead lap. Gene Sanford was a lap down in 36th, Jay Jefferson 5 laps down in 37th, and Bobby Frazier 5 laps down in 38th, and he was the last car to finish the race. The cars out of the race: Matt McIntyre 39th, William Brock 41st with a header failure, But the biggest name on that list, Charles Samper, 40th, with an ignition failure on that Sonic Chevrolet. Much like about when Brad Keselowski clinched the championship after Jimmy Johnson's car suffered an engine failure or suffered some sort of mechanical failure with about 40 to go in the 2012 race at Homestead, and cost Jimmy the championship and gave it to Brad that day. But like I said, you hate to see any of the championship contenders actually have problems in the finale, but nonetheless, so it is what it is. So Johnny Gardner wins the 40 Boost 400, and we'll be back. We'll be back in a minute to recap to recap the points for season 22. Welcome back to the 40 Boost 400 at Homestead Miami Speedway. This is the post-race show, but also a post-season show, I guess you might say here, as we do every time we hit Homestead, as we review the point standings after the season, and we first will look at the Rookie of the Year points, and of course, as predicted, Benny Watson is your season 22 Rookie of the Year for the Castrol GTX Cup Series, winning the rookie points by 23 over Trey Wright. We finished second in points there. Watson is the only one of the rookies that had a win this season. He won the second race on the tour at Rockingham, as he finished with 294 points to Trey Wright's 271. Elisha Gordon was third in the points. Dion Moon was fourth. Aiden Shepard fifth. And Bobby Frazier will end up sixth in the rookie points. So I will say a very impressive rookie class this season. So hopefully, when we hit season 23, if any rookies show up for the field, which I pretty much guarantee you we will have rookies next season. But maybe, hopefully, that rookie class will be pretty good. So we'll see what happens here. Now on to the standings for the whole season for Castrol GTX Cup for season 23, or season 22, excuse me. We haven't done 23 just yet. So, season 22 points for the Castrol GTX Cup Series here. And, of course, Kyle Matthews is your season 22 champion for the series. It's his second championship in the Castrol GTX Cup Series. His first, of course, as we said, back in season 20. He finishes the season with 4,788 points. 2 poles, 4 wins, 17 top 5 finishes, and 23 top 10 finishes. So he finished top 5 in half of those 34 races, and finished top 10 in all but 11 races this season. So that, as we said, that season, that 24 car Comments pretty much ran like Jeff Gordon back in the 90s. That car, very fast all season long, and you know he'll be out to do it again next season without question for sure in his quest for the third championship in season 23. Charles Samper, of course, it wasn't like a trying for him trying to catch up to Matthews for the championship, though. He had it down to within 51 points coming into Rockingham, the third to the last race of the season. But Matthews dominated that event and opened the points lead up again. And of course, by the time we got to this race at Homestead, it was 61 points after Samper finished slightly ahead of Matthews at Phoenix. But the ignition failure for Samper unfortunately did him in, and ends up finishing 139 points back in second place. But like we said, don't say it wasn't for lack of trying for Charles to try to unseat the points leader at this race. So you gotta admit, though, the points lead, as we mentioned, was up as far as 347 points. That was prior to Darlington. And as we said, by the time we got to Rockingham, it had been chopped to 51, and that was the closest it got since after the Daytona 500, obviously. But Comet, of course, as I said, kept the points lead all season long after his Daytona 500 win. So that was it. As for Charles Samper's stats, though, he had 2 poles, 4 wins, 14 top 5s, and like Matthews, 23 top 10 finishes this season. So that 29 car was pretty stout this season as well, finishing 139 points out of the lead in second place. Jessica Shelton, another good season for her. She ends up finishing third in the points after the season. 3 wins on the season, that coming at North Wilkesboro, Riverside, and Watkins Glen. 7 pole positions that led everybody, and she and Jessica, of course, will be in the Busch Clash next season for the series, as will Matthews and Sanford both. 7 poles, 3 wins for Jessica this season. 16 top 5s and 22 top 10 finishes for the 4-time series champion. So Shelton, another good season for her. She finishes 167 out of the lead. She almost caught Charles for second place, though. She almost did. A few more positions higher, and she might have done so. So Shelton with another top 5 series season in the points. Chris Dollerton, he ends up finishing 4th on his comeback season. 2 poles, 2 wins, that coming at Texas, and that thrilling 3-way finish at Talladega. 9 top 5s and 18 top 10 finishes for Chris this season. Jesse Turner, 5th in the points chase there, 2 wins, 2 poles, 2 wins, 7 top 5s, and 15 top 10 finishes. 6th place will go to Cole Deaver. Almost took Homestead, though he almost did, but Gardner got him at the last few feet of the line. They didn't skunk him this season, though. He got 1 win, 8 top 5s, 15 top 10 finishes, and 4 pole positions en route to a 6th place points finish for Cole. So Cole with another good season for him. One guy that quietly made the top 10, though, snuck in the top 10 honestly, even though despite the fact he was the only top 10 finisher that didn't have a win this season, but still ran good enough to finish 7th in the points. Keith Batson in the 32 White Rain Ford. He ends up with a 7th place points finish this season. 1 pole, no wins, unfortunately, for Keith, though he came close a couple times. 7 top 5s and 13 top 10 finishes. So Keith, will be out for blood next season. That is for sure. 8th in the points will go to Joshua Osborne. He had no pole positions, but he did have the win at the Brickyard 400 this season, though, in the Kevin Harvick Enterprises machine. He ends up with 4 top 5 finishes and 19 top 10 finishes. So Joshua's car strong all season long. Didn't finish top 5 much, but had the performance that was consistently a top 10 car this season for sure. A few bad luck finishes in a few key races kind of prevented Joshua from finishing higher in the points. Dylan Young, though, he came up to finish in the top 10. He was in the top 15 most of the year, but got the breaks he needed to finish top 10 this season. He finishes 9th in the points with 2 poles, 2 wins, 7 top 5s, and 17 top 10 finishes. So another good season for Dylan Young, and finishing top and rounding out the top 10 is Benjamin Miles. One of the few showings he had in the top 10 this season, and he ends up finishing 10th, knocking Levi McIntyre out of the top 10 after Levi's bad luck he had at Homestead in the last race of the season. But Benjamin finishes 10th in the points with no poles, 1 win that came at the spring race at Darlington, 11 top 5s, and 13 top 10 finishes. So Benjamin Miles with an excellent season, and I think it's his career best finish in the Castrol GTX Cup Series as well. So Benjamin, if he comes back, he may be a threat. 11th place will go to Joshua Collard. He had 2 poles, 1 win, 9 top 5s, 11 top 10s. 12th will go to Johnny Gardner, and 3-win season for Johnny. Good season for him. He probably just wished he would have finished higher than that. Then a 12th place finish there. 2 poles, 3 wins, 8 top 5, 16 top 10 finishes for Johnny. So Johnny will be in the shootout as well as Collard as well with those 2 poles. Levi McIntyre, he wished he had so close to the top 10 finish though, but the crash at Homestead kind of knocked him out of the whole thing. Dropping down to 13th in the standings. He had 3 poles, 1 win that came in Richmond in the first Richmond race, 5 top 5s and 14 top 10 finishes for Levi. Zachary Fitzwater 14th in the points here with 1 pole, 2 wins, 5 top 5s and 12 top 10s. And Matt McIntyre, a great season for him by his standards, obviously. No poles, but he did get the 2 wins. His first 2 in his career in the Castrol GTX Cup Series, I might add. That came at North Wilkesboro and Charlotte. Consecutive wins, I might add, as well. And Matt was very impressive in the last 5 races of the season, for sure. So Matt, if he comes back, he will be a threat next season for sure. And I wouldn't be surprised to find him in the thick of a top 10 points run neither. So watch out for that. He had no poles, 2 top 5s, 3 top 10, no poles, 2 wins, 3 top 5s, and 11 top 10 finishes. Jay Jefferson, he's got to be kind of the heartbreaker of the whole bunch because he did have a top 10 run going on for most of the season, but he dropped out. But the performance kind of lacked at really the worst time for Jay. No poles, 1 win that came at Auto Club, 4 top 5s, and 10 top 10 finishes. While Quentin Moore comes home 17th, 18th to Nathan Hudson, 19th Carter Friesen, and Benny Watson, the Rookie of the Year, ends up finishing 20th in the points. He had no poles, 1 win that came at Rockingham, the second race of the season, 5 top 5s, and 11 top 10 finishes. So I'm gonna look and see that is 18 drivers this season who has collected 10 or more top 10 finishes. That is pretty impressive, I will say that. And sandwiched in between all that is the 5 top 10s by Nathan Hudson and the 5 by Carter Friesen. So we had 18 drivers that finished in the top 10 more than finished in the top 10 or more times. We had 19 different winners this season, and those 19 are Kyle Matthews, Charles Sanford, Jessica Shelton, Chris Dollerton, Jesse Turner, Cole Deaver, Joshua Osborne, Dylan Young, Benjamin Miles, Joshua Collard, Johnny Gardner, Levi McIntyre, Zachary Fitzwater, Matt McIntyre, Jay Jefferson, Benny Watson, Gene Sanford, who comes home 21st in the points, and Vince Almarego, who pulled out the surprising win in the Pepsi 400. He ends up finishing 31st in the points, unfortunately for him. And he did collect 1 other top 5. That was at Texas, but that was the only 2 top 10 finishes he had. Rest of the finishing order in the points though will be Levi Mackett. Levi can't finish 13th. What am I talking about? Anyway, Gene Sammer comes on 21st in the points. Mike Becker 22nd. Sky Cummins 23rd. Rob Evans 24th. Kat Batson, a disastrous season for her, 25th. Eli Bright 26th. William Brock 27th. He did get the win actually, so I forgot William Brock's name on that list of the 19 winners this season. So I forgot William Brock won the 600 at Charlotte. So William Brock is actually one of the 19 winners this season, along with Almarego and many others I named off. Excuse me. Trey Wright 28th. 29th, Ashlyn Boyd and Elijah Gordon comes home in 30th in the rookie and comes up 30th in the points. Vince Almarego 31st, Zach Winkle 32nd, Simon Bloomfield 33rd, Bobby Frazier 34th, Henry Sanford 35th with 2 wins, or not 2 wins, 2 top 10 finishes, and both of them were top 5s for that fact, as a matter of fact. James Henry 36th, Aiden Shepard 37th, Theon Moon 38th, Mitchell Collins, the only driver that did not finish top 10, unfortunately, in this season, unfortunately, the only driver that did not have a top 10 finish this season, unfortunately for him, he ends up 39th, Diego Yepes 40th, and Ryan Brommer was dead last in the points, unfortunately for him, with no wins, no poles, no wins, 1 pole, no top 5s, but 2 top 10 finishes for him. But anyway. So that's the review of how the season ended up as far as the points are concerned. And again, congratulations again to Johnny Gardner, the winner of the 40 Caboose 400, and Kyle Matthews, the season 22 Castrol GTX Cup Series champion. If you like what you see here, be sure to subscribe to the NNSCRA Sports and Gaming channel. We got everything on this channel. We got inter races, gaming videos, whatever the president of the NNSCRA said called desires for his channel. And be sure to check out our Cavalcada series, including the Coors Light Truck Series, Pizza Hut X Series, Hershey's Cup Series, Last of Us Light Series, the Skittle Super Speedway Series, and the brand new ongoing Duracell Cup Series that is hosted by Seth Cole himself. And also, Michael Norman's Budweiser All-Pro Series is also available on his channel as well. And be sure to subscribe to Thrash Maniac 99 to keep up on the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series and become part of that series as well. Some of the best offline series are under the NNSCRA umbrella, and you will not regret checking those races out neither. So, thank you all, everybody who participated in Season 22 of the Castrol GTX Cup Series. Congratulations again to Johnny Gardner, the winner of the 40 Go Boost 400, and to Kyle Matthews, the Season 22 Castrol GTX Cup Series champion. And for now, this is James Qualls. This has been a production of the NNSCRA. Offline Racing at its best. We will see you at Daytona for Season 23.